Welcome back. Artificial Christmas trees may be convenient and mess-free, but there's something really special having the real deal.
Maybe you're a fan of the fresh pine smell, or maybe the adventure of going out and picking that perfect tree. There's a lot to love. But of course, it's a lot of work. You want it to last. You want to remember a couple of things to keep it lasting and keep it alive. Garden Guy Dale Kay live for us with the essential tree care tips. Good morning, Dale.
Good morning. We're actually quite lucky here in Minnesota because we are a tree growing state. So lots of choices when it comes to choosing your fresh cut Christmas tree. And not all states are like that, because if you think of Florida, there's not a Christmas tree grown anywhere in that state. They're all shipped in. So we've got lots of options whether you come to a lot like this or you go to a tree lot and cut your own down. Some of the care tips are the same. And to mention, there's about 500,000 trees that are harvested in Minnesota every year. And don't worry, it is a harvested crop, so to speak, so it's grown especially for Christmas. It's not like you're out there bush bashing or harming the environment or anything like that. And as you mentioned, it is fantastic to have that fresh pine smell. There's something quite traditional and quite comforting about choosing your fresh cut Christmas tree. I always enjoy it, so it's kind of like spreading cheer. And the way the calendar has stacked up, Thanksgiving was a little bit early, so I think usually between Thanksgiving weekend and this upcoming weekend are the big weeks, or big week I should say, where all the trees are usually ending up in homes. You're right around that 26 days or thereabouts till Christmas, so about 26 days to Christmas or thereabouts. So that's about your lifespan for a fresh cut Christmas tree. If you go further than that, you're asking just a little too much. So that's why this week in particular is the best week to get out there and choose your tree. And as far as care tips, it doesn't matter whether you come to a lot like this or you're cutting your own. These tips are essentially the same. The first thing is when choosing your tree, make sure it's the right space. They always look a wee little bit smaller out here than they do in your home. They will end up being quite large. So even measure your ceiling, make sure you know the height of your ceiling so you don't have to do too much trimming at home. And then essentially just run your hands towards you through some branches and make sure it doesn't rain needles. And thankfully for this one, it's all the needles kind of stayed intact there. Behind me is a balsam fir and a Fraser fir. They're some of the most commonly used trees indoors, quite simply for needle retention and also fragrance as well. So you'll see a lot of those. They're easy to decorate too, lots of layers within the branches, which is quite nice as well. So once you've selected your tree, whether you're cutting your own down or you're at the lot, make sure that you have a good sharp kind of a pruning saw like this with sharp teeth. That's really ideal. And then about 1 to 2 inches comes off the bottom, and you cut basically straight. You don't want to cut on a V or drill it. There's no point drilling holes in the bottom of the trunk. That really doesn't do anything. Most of the uptake of the water is through the outer layers of the bark. So you're putting a fresh cut. That's maybe just like you're recutting fresh flowers. It's kind of simply quite the same. That's the same principle. So, and then it needs to go into water. I like to get it in water within 2 hours of making this cut. You can actually go about 6 hours or thereabouts. But if it goes past that 6-hour mark, I recommend putting another fresh cut on it with a saw. That will ensure that you have a lot of freshness, and it does in fact make it to Christmas and then a little bit into the new year as well. The next key thing, and it's quite simple, is water. And for that, I like to use a big tree stand like this that has a large reservoir. Sometimes those tree stands with small reservoirs, you can be sticking your fingers in there or checking the water continually. And I should mention too, trees can actually uptake 2 liters of water, 2 liters of water in a single day. So sometimes, and that can occur in the first day, and it could occur in the middle, or it could occur in the end. Trees are kind of funny like that, how they take up water. So keep in mind that you want to have about a reservoir that holds about 2 liters, and then don't let it go past the bottom of the stem. That's really critical. So, and I just use tap water. I don't put anything in it. I've heard of people put aspirin and Sprite and tonics and all, God knows what else. Just plain fresh tap water. Doesn't matter the temperature either. That just goes straight in the stand. A couple of other tips for you. I always have one of these little disposable bags to get it out of the house, and then I always return my Christmas tree back to nature. Recycling, I'll have some tips on that coming up towards the end of the month. And then as far as lighting your tree, LED lights are cool to touch, so you won't get any excessive heat from the lights on the tree itself. That's really key. And then of course, some simple tips: keeping it away from a heating event, keeping it away from a fireplace. All those good things will ensure that your tree will last the holiday season. So there you have it, some great tips. This is a Fraser fir. It has good branching, so if you've got heavy ornaments, this is what I'm going to put in. Actually, I might take this one home, put this little beauty in my living room. Back to you.
Yeah, good tips, Dan. We were just talking about making sure the water, that's always like, oh no, we haven't watered the tree in a couple days.
I'm going to need one of those bigger base stands that you just showed. So thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Dale.
That leads to our question of the Christmas tree yet. Right now, 54% saying it's up, ready to go.